as much as we have improved farming practices in the last, say 20 or 30 years, conventional farming is still really, really hard on the soils because they say for every square foot of healthy soil, there's more microbial activity in that 1 square foot of or cubic foot of healthy soil than there are people on the planet. Like there's just billions and billions and billions of animals down there moving around and doing their thing. And when we disturb the soil, we disturb their communities. And when we do that, then they have to start over again. They have to rebuild. They have to find a mate, and they have to do all the things that they need to do to survive. But if we leave the land alone and keep grass on it, keep a cap on the grass on the land, then we're not disturbing those communities. We're not emitting carbon. We're sequestering carbon because these plants continue to take carbon out of the atmosphere and driving it into the ground. The cattle that are on here, which is the next best thing to a bison, but the cattle are consuming the forage in a rotational manner. We're mimicking nature, what the bison did, 125 years ago or 150 years ago now, with the cattle, and we're recycling those nutrients so that the cattle are consuming the product above ground. We know that 90% of what a cow eats and drinks comes out the back end of the cow. So we know that there's the nutrients that are above ground are getting recycled. And then we create another environment for dung beetles and other animals that live on the manure pats, and then they break it down, and then we know that goes right back into the soil, and it goes to soil improvement. So the cattle here I move the cows about every 4 or 5 days, and they're super easy to move. Once they get trained, they'll beat you to the gate. And it's just really, really good for the soil. And I try not to use a paddock more than once in a year. Sometimes about half of it I have to go over it a second time, but I try to only use it once. So the grasses are getting hit 4 or 5, maybe 6 days maximum in a year. So it really, the growth potential for the grass is really, really good. Even in dry years, I like we were talking about earlier, I've never run out of grass. I have run out of water, which makes things a little tricky last year especially, but the grasses have always have done well. Even in dry years, the grasses have done pretty good.